Okay, so let's start our second part of this video tutorial, which is configuring cache refresh in Glue server. First, I'm going to log into my Glue server, which we just installed, to show you this demo. I'm logging in there with the default user, which I created during installation. So let's do it. This is our mm, test Glue server. Now that I'm in, I'm going to navigate to the configuration section and click on cache refresh. So for our primary job, we need just three sections shown here among four. The first is cache refresh, and the second is customer backend key slash attributes, and the third is source backend. Let's start with the second one, customer backend. The first thing to consider is the key attribute. This is the primary attribute of your backend LF server. As for example, the most popular Active Directory primary key is SAM account name. If your primary name is SAM account name, then you need to put it here, or it varies from organization to organization. For our case, it's UID or username. The second piece of information you will need to enter is the object class. For this, you need to provide the proper object classes here to pool users' information properly. For our case, the only object class is person. Next is a source attribute. This is the list which we are going to pull from our backend directory server. So for now, we are pulling a very simple couple of attributes, say mail or email address, then CN or common name, and SM. So we are done in this tab. Let's move with the source backend LDAP servers. So this information represents your source backend LDAP server. Here we need to provide the hostname and port of your backend directory servers. We also need to provide bindian information and the password for that bindian user as well. So let's start. Um, the name source, it can be anything. We're giving it source just to align with the source backend LDAP servers tab name. Then the bindian information. For our case, it's CN equals directory manager. One quick note to mention, for bindian, you might need to provide the full tree location of that user which you are going to use as bindian user. That's specifically true for Active Directory. So max connection might be anything, depends on your policy and architecture. We're giving it 3 servers. The hostname and port of your backend directory server. Our backend LF server is myldap.glue.org 1636, as this one is SSL port, so we need to enable use SSL button here. Then let's click on bindian button. Basedian button. Basedian is where your users are located in your backend directory server. In our case, it's O equals to people, O equals to glue. Change bind password. This is the password of your bindian user. So, okay. So we're done here with this tab as well. INAM LDAP server. You don't need to put anything in the INAM LDAP server fields here. The Glue server automatically takes this information from your installation and infrastructure. This information relates to the LDAP server inside your Glue server. So let's keep it as it is. Now let's click on the first tab, cache refresh. Here, first of all, we're going for the source attribute to destination attribute mapping. Let's click on this button. So here on the left hand side, you need to put the name of the attribute which is in your backend directory server. And on the right hand side, the name of the attribute into which we're going to pull the value of that backend directory server information. For example, if you're using Active Directory, generally it's SAM account name, and inside Glue server, it will be UID. That means the value of SAM account name, take the value of SAM account name and map it inside here in the Glue server with UID attributes. That means whatever the value is there in SAM account name attribute, it will become the value of UID. For our case, the primary key is UID, so UID equals to UID. Same will go for CN and SN. So let's click one more time. CN equals to CN. That means take the value of CN from backend directory server and put it inside CN attribute of Glue server. Same goes for SN equals to SN. All right, so we are done with this attribute mapping. Let's move to polling interval. So this is the time interval between two cache refresh cycles. So cache refresh automatically runs after a set amount of time to sync your local LDAP server with your backend directory server. The standard polling interval is 15 minutes. Please keep in mind that the larger the search, the less often you want to run cache refresh. So if you had 2 million users in your database, you would want to run cache refresh less frequently, say every hour or every day. Our test database is small, so we are just putting 5 minutes here. Then server IP address. This is the IP address of your Glue server. That means we need to put the IP address of test.glue.org here. So let's put it. This is the IP address of our of that VM where test.glue.org is installed. So that's it. Let's hit update to save the setup which we just performed. So now it's time to enable the cache refresh section here. Let's enable it. As we provided 5 minutes here in the polling interval, so the cache refresh cycle will begin in 5 minutes. Okay, so let's check the status of our cache refresh. All right, great. So as you can see, updates at the last run 101. So it ran properly. Now let's search for one user. Let's see if the user is here. The glue tester, which I mentioned earlier. Glue tester. Yep, it's here. So all this information came from our backend directory server. So that's it. We're done with our cache refresh activation, and it ran properly.